Over the years I've played pickleball, a lot of the things that I've learned and taught came directly from my tennis background, and then I molded it into pickleball. If you didn't know, both me and Drew played college tennis, so when we came to pickleball, we were starting off with a really strong tennis base. However, as the sport's progressed, pickleball technique has taken on a life of its own. So in this video, I'm gonna cover some of the newer tips and tricks that I'm seeing higher level players and pros starting to use. So the first trick, guys, is becoming really popular on the pro tour and with high level players. I actually saw a video of Gabe Tardio saying that he does this. He's the third player in the world, or the fourth player in the world, one of the two. And what it is choking up on the paddle. So by choking up, what I mean is holding your hand a little bit higher in relation to the paddle face. So if you've seen my videos before, I probably recommended holding the grip at the bottom, because in tennis, that's what we do. That's what most high-level players, pro players do. But more and more players are starting to hold it slightly higher. They're not holding it like ping pong players like this, but they're kind of holding it like right here. So, and what that does is it gives you more control and faster hands. But why is that? Well, when I bring my hand up higher, it's essentially making the swing weight go down. The swing weight is how hard it is for me to go like this with the paddle. So when I go closer to the end of the paddle, it becomes easier. And there's a few benefits to this, and I'm gonna show you what they are, then I'm gonna help you figure out if you should try this or not. So the first benefit of this is that lowers the swing weight, which makes you have faster hands. So there's no debate that having a lower swing weight makes it easier to maneuver the paddle. So if I'm having to switch from my backhand to forehand really quick, or I'm having to react really fast, I'm technically going to be slightly faster by choking up a little bit because the swing weight of my paddle is going to drop. So if I'm in these sort of fast exchanges, it's actually a very effective strategy for me to choke up a little bit on the paddle. The next place that this will help you is it gives you more control. Because on a lot of our shots in pickleball, when we're dinking, we're not needing power. And what putting your hand at the bottom of the paddle does is it gives you more power, because when you go like this at the bottom, it moves faster. So if I have time to swing, I can generate more power. If I'm dinking, I don't need to do that. So if you're choking up a little bit, you should become more consistent on your dinks and your drops, okay? But there are some downsides, right? You're not gonna be able to serve as hard if you're choking up on the paddle. Your drives are not going to be as hard if you're choking up on the paddle. So what you should do is ask yourself, do I need more power, or do I need more control and more hand speed? And by answering that, you should be able to tell if you should try choking up on the paddle. Also, not everyone has enough grip length to choke up on. If you have a shorter grip paddle, this might not really make sense for you. This is an elongated paddle. Most pros use elongated paddles. So that's why for them, a lot of them will slide their hand up a little bit on every shot because they value control and hand speed over just raw power. And guys, I just want to reiterate, this isn't for everybody. Not every player needs to start choking up on their paddle. Just give it a try, and maybe it'll be good for you. Maybe it'll help your game. If not, though, don't feel like you need to do this. This is not something that you have to do by any means. A lot of the best players in the world don't do this. So it's more of a preference thing, and so are the tips that I'm about to show you later in the video. So a lot of the best tips in pickleball are things that work for you. Not every tip is going to work for every player, right? Some players prefer a one-handed backhand, some players prefer a two-handed backhand, right? And they're players that are very good at both of them. But you need to find what works for you. So this is just a little thing that has been helping a lot of high-level players. It definitely works for some people, so give it a try. Guys, as I mentioned, most pros are using elongated paddles, which is why we released this paddle in the elongated shape. So if you're looking to try a paddle that you can choke up on a little bit, that still gives you crazy good power, and that helps you in hands battles and hands exchanges, make sure to go check out our paddle, the Gen 4.5, and use code FOAM at checkout to get $20 off. All right, guys, so our next step also has to do with how we're holding the paddle, but not in terms of how high, in terms of where we're holding it rotationally. And it's specifically when you're at the kitchen and your opponent is hitting a softer shot at you. So generally when you're waiting up here, you want to have the Continental so that you can respond quickly to a fast ball, right? Without having to change your grip. So I can use the Continental to hit any sort of volley if it comes at me quick, and I don't have to change it. But if my opponent is hitting it to me slowly with a drop, I have enough time to change it now. And what I've heard Ben Johns and Gabe Tardio say that they do, two of the best players in the world, when they have a slower shot coming at them, whether it's a drop or a dink, they change. So on the forehand, what you can do is you can change from Continental to Eastern, and whether or not it bounces or you take it out of the air, it makes it easier to get topspin. So that's a higher one, but because it's coming at me slowly, I can change my grip very quickly. It gives me more spin, and I can also reach farther into the court with an Eastern than I can a Continental. Look at, when I'm reaching with a Continental, it's kind of like my paddle's angling upwards because I can't get it to my wrist, literally just physically can't rotate far enough forward. But when I go to Eastern, now I can hit a ton of spin and power at this angle. So you can do the same thing on the backhand too. So on the backhand, rather than hitting it with the Continental, I can go to my backhand Eastern grip. So what that looks like is this. I get a slower one, I go a little bit up with my grip, and it gives me more spin and more ability to reach. So I don't have to do it as much on my backhand because I have more wrist mobility on my backhand when I'm hitting with one hand than I do on my forehand. But on both of these sides, if you have time, don't be afraid to slightly adjust your grip like this to get more spin. So this works when you're doing it out of the air, but it also works off the bounce. So a lot of the time, the ball is bouncing in front of you, and when you're doing this, you can switch your grip a little bit to get more spin when you pivot back so that you can attack it better at their feet. So don't be afraid to change your grip at the kitchen when you're going for an acceleration and you have time, right? They already know you're gonna hit it hard in a lot of these situations, so maybe you're giving it away, but it's gonna make it a lot easier on you. All right, guys, before I give the next step, I want you to watch these two rallies. This is the first one. Watch how I'm standing, okay? So in both these rallies, I'm doing pretty well with my volleys. We're just doing fast hands. Okay, this is the second rally though. And I want you to decide of which of those two rallies it looked like I was in a better position to react. So if you said the second one, you're right. And the only difference between those two rallies was in the second rally, I was leaning forward. And if you watch pro players at the kitchen, whenever they're waiting, generally they look something like this. They're leaning a little bit forward. And when you watch recreational players, whether 3-0, 4-0, a lot of the time they look like this. They're standing straight up. Maybe they have a wide base, which you should have a wide base, but they're standing straight up. So what is the advantage of going like this? Well, it helps you react faster, but why? So when you're standing like this, it's easier to get what we call chicken wing. So why is this better? Well, when I'm standing straight up, my elbow is naturally going to be closer to my body unless I'm forcing it forward. But if I'm forcing it forward, then I'm not really that relaxed anymore. So when I'm standing straight up, my elbow is here. So if someone hits it right at my right shoulder, right hip, in order to hit this shot, I need to move my elbow very drastically to get it out of the way. So the advantage of leaning forward is that when I'm leaning forward, my elbow naturally is going to be a little bit in front of my body. You don't want it to be like here, but it's a little bit in front, right? And I can be relaxed in this position because it sort of just sits here naturally. So when my elbow is a little bit in front of my body, to hit this chicken wing shot, I don't have to move my elbow nearly as much. So it's a much quicker movement to be able to react to this shot. So Gabe Tardio says he does this for this exact reason. And if you watch pros, they're all sort of doing this a little bit. They have a little bit of distance from their elbow to their body, and they have this forward lean, which makes you react faster. This is also just a better position to be in. You don't want to be like this when you're playing. You want to be like this, right? So this helps you react faster. Try it out. Just lean forward a little bit when you're at the kitchen. I guarantee it'll help you a little bit and you'll react faster. So the next thing that you can do in combination with leaning forward, I actually talked about this in my last video, is you can adjust your ready position. So in the beginning of pickleball, when I started playing, everyone was sort of taught to have their paddle like this, which some players still do this, right? You have your tip sort of up by your chin. You can still do this, but you're starting to see the best players taking the ready position at the kitchen from here a little bit lower. But why? When you're here, you're in a better position to react to balls coming right over the net because the net is actually about this high. So when I'm right here, my paddle is right above the net and I can react very quickly, right? The other thing is when I'm right here, I'm more relaxed. So it's known that when you're more relaxed, you actually can react faster. Your arm is in a better position to move quickly. Versus if I'm tense up here close to my body, it's just not as easy for me to move into position. So when you have your paddle a little bit lower and you're leaning forward, your arm is relaxed and you're in the best position to react fast based on wherever your opponent is going to hit you the ball. So guys, everything that I've said throughout this video, you don't have to do this. These are just little things you can try. For me, they've helped a lot. I actually like using all these tricks, but it might not be for you. Give each one of them a try, and I guarantee maybe one or two of them will actually work well in your game. It's not gonna be a one-size-fits-all thing. Not everyone's gonna love these tips. Give them a try though. Make sure to comment if you've tried them before and you like any of these. And guys, if you want to watch the video we made last week where I also talk about this and I talk about getting faster hands, watch this.